Hello, I'm Mr. Jones, and today we'll be talking about solving systems of equations using substitution. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for the variable here that has a coefficient of a positive 1. And so I'm going to see that in the second equation I have x with a coefficient of a positive 1 right there. And so I'm going to solve for x in that equation. If I subtract 6y from both sides, I know over here I'm going to have x equals 18 minus 6y. Since I now have an expression value for x, I can take that expression and substitute it into the first equation for x. And so I'm going to rewrite the first equation with my new x inside of it. This was x, and now it's that expression, and so I'm going to continue writing that first equation. And so now I'm going to continue solving for y. So I'm going to use the distributive property here. 2 times 18 is 36. 2 times a negative 6 is a negative 12y. Minus 3y is going to equal a negative 24. Now I need to combine like terms. Negative 12y minus 3y is a negative 15y. Equals a negative 24. And so now I need to continue solving for y by subtracting 36 from both sides. That'll give me a negative 15y equals a negative 60. And I'm going to solve for y by dividing a negative 15 from both sides. And now I know that y equals a positive 4. I'm not done solving the system because I've only found y. To solve the system completely, I need to find x and y and come up with an ordered pair of their solutions. And so I'm going to say, well, now I know the value of y, I can find the value of x. So I'm going to take this 4 value for y and I'm going to substitute it into that equation that I created because I've already solved for x here. So all I have to do is put in the y and it's going to give me the x value. So I'm going to take x equals 18 minus 6, and instead of y I'm going to use my substitution of 4. I'm going to have x equals 18 minus 24, and that's going to tell me that x equals a negative 6. And now I can write my ordered pair. Remember, when you're writing your ordered pair, your x value goes first and then your y value. And so I'll have my solution is a negative 6 and a positive 4 for y. And that's my final answer. All right, we're going to do another lesson on substitution. We're just going to give you another example. And so I have my 2 equations here. And so once again, I'm looking for a variable that has a coefficient of positive 1. So I'm looking, that's negative 1, 1/3, 2. Here's my coefficient of positive 1 right here. And so what I'm going to do is solve for y in this equation. I'm going to bring it over here and I'll subtract 2x from both sides. And I know that y would equal a negative 2x plus 25. Now that I have my expression value for y, I'm going to take that expression and substitute it into my first equation for y. So I'm going to circle that and bring the substitution over here. And I want to rewrite this first equation with my substitution in there. So I'm going to have a 1/3 x minus. Now, because this is an expression that has 2 terms, I need to create parentheses because that's a grouping there. And so I'll have, open my parentheses, 2x plus 25, and then that's going to be equal to 3. And now I need to use this information to solve for x. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute this implied negative 1 here and have 1/3 x plus 2x minus 25 equals 3. Now I'm going to go ahead and move all these constants to the right-hand side, and so I'm going to add 25 to both sides. And I'm going to say that that's 1/3 x plus 2x equals now a 28. And so I'm going to combine these two like terms right here. 2 plus 1/3 is 2 1/3. Now if I multiply the whole number times the denominator, it gives me 6. Add it back to the numerator, gives you 7. Keep the denominator 7/3. And so what I just did there was take the mixed number and convert it to an improper fraction. So I'm going to have 7/3 x equals 28. And dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. And so what I'm going to do is to solve for x, multiply by 3/7 on each side. There I should realize that this is going to cancel out. And 7 goes into 7 one time, 7 goes into 28 4 times. And I'll really be left with x equals 4 times 3. And that tells me that x equals 12. Now that I know that x equals 12, I can take that information and put it in the equation that I've already solved for y in. So all I have to do is take this 12 and put it in for x in this equation. I'm going to get y back once I evaluate that. And so I'll take this information and say y equals a -2 times our x, which is 12, plus 25. Then y is going to equal a -24 plus 25. A -24 plus 25 is 1. If I'm starting backwards 24 spaces, if I go forward 25 spaces, if I go forward 24, I'm going to end up at 0. And I go forward one more to make it 25, I end up at 1. So -24 plus 25 is 1. Now I have my entire solution because I have my x value and I have my y value. And remember, in your ordered pair, x goes first, y goes second. And so now I have 12, 1 as my solution. Smouch, bruh.